right, welcome back to Energy Boom 101, Dispatch from the Patch 15, live from Boom U. You're focused on a Boom U in bloom, and that is an autumn explosion over there you're looking at. I think that's sort of an orange-red, just a glorious, glorious emergence of Mother Nature, gently cradled betwixt two green pines. It's really, really looking good here. How are my teeth looking? By the way, you may want to get a quick shot of that talent right there. Nah, we shouldn't do that. This is G-rated show here. We're here, Dispatch 15, going crazy. TMAC's with me in the house. We're going to finish up a little bit about the global energy rainbow. We talked about Brazil. They're going nuts. We heard the bells of Boom U while we were talking about Brazil, and then the brain came up, and that's like 5 Bs, so we just had to shut it down right there because that's B to the 5th power, and everyone knows that just explodes. There's some amazing talent on this prairie. I'll say that, and I'll say if you're ready, whenever you're ready, TMAC, because you know we've rehearsed this 23 million times, when you're ready for the patented, trademarked TMAC back camera attack in 3, 2, 1, here it goes. Then we'll swing around and we'll do a little completion. Now get ready for this, folks, because you see me shift over to this side. I got to talk with Vladdy Poo. He's been getting out of line. And apparently 2 days ago he killed someone with his pinky. It's unconfirmed. It's dark, so we don't want to discuss it. But just look at him. You think he's playing games? You're sadly mistaken. Okay, so here's the deal. Global Energy Rainbow, Dispatch from the Patch, 15. T-Mac's having a good time with Vladdy Poo there. Get a quick shot, by the way, T-Mac, of Stewie. Let everyone know that Stewie's feeling good. Everything goes through Stewie's horns. Just make note of that, people. The ether that Einstein searched for actually goes through Stewie's horns. Apparently, we don't know for sure. But we will continue our lovely little discussion of the global energy rainbow. If you remember, the 2 people are, I think we now have three subscribers. Six subscribers, actually. Wall Street's going nuts. The last Dispatch, 14, we talked about, popping the ears, just fracking the shale there. We talked about global energy rainbow. We talked about Brazil. We talked about the terms that have been agreed upon. We talked about how France's Total is there, Royal Dutch Shell is there, China's 2 oil companies, one is CNOOC, C-N-O-O-C, the other is CNPC, China National Petroleum Corporation. Those are the 4 players that spent $200 billion to get 35 years worth of drilling in the Libra oil field off Brazil. So that's going to be a chess piece, because here's the deal. The global energy rainbow also is a global energy chess game. It's pretty multi-dimensional, you know. Speaking of, here they are. This is a lesson in patience. So we will assign this a chess piece at some point. Now, is it a bishop? Is it a pawn? Is it a rook? I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? We'll talk to Bobby Fischer. See if we can bring him in for a TV show sometime. This is a great time, by the way, to honestly invite Alanis Morissette on this show. If anyone out there watches this show and thinks that she would in any way enjoy discussing the global energy rainbow and the deepest aspects of the human condition as seen through a barrel of oil, shag her ass down here. We got a great pad/studio. We're doing nutty things. But be that as it may, Alanis, if you're out there, give my people a call. They're booked pretty tight right now, but we'll see what we can do. Back to global energy rainbow. Okay, we also talked about last week the big deal that was going on betwixt, it's not between, it's betwixt, Russia and China. And what we knew was that they had decided to do a joint venture to explore in eastern Siberia. And I don't even know where that is, but I know where the eastern Siberian Sea is, and so that's where we're putting this deal. And we now have numbers. We learned some really interesting stuff. Dang, I used to have production numbers. That was pretty fun. Oh, no, I did. I wrote them down. Check it out. Okay, so here's the deal. They're going to explore for oil together in the eastern Siberian Sea. Not explore so much as Rosneft is going to provide China with a lot of oil for quite a while. Now, they are also building a refinery together. And this is pretty wicked. This is in this town called Tianjin, somewhere in China. I'm sure I mispronounced that. Doesn't matter. Those 2 companies, Rosneft and CNPC, remember them? CNPC, Brazil, CNPC, remember them? Well, they're here in Russia. They're going to be everywhere. They're already everywhere. The CNPC and Rosneft are going to build a refinery. It's 110 million barrels of annual capacity refinery. So I don't know if that's huge or small. I don't have a clue, but it's probably pretty good size. Rosneft is going to own 51%. CNPC is going to own 49%. You can see, even though the refinery is being built in China and it will be used for the Chinese consumer to consume their gasoline that is being refined from the crude coming from Russia, the terms are still agreeable to Russia. They have 51%. They control this. So I would say right now the political game still belongs to Russia as far as having leverage in this part of the world based on energy needs. That said, I didn't exactly get my PhD in political science from the University of BOOMU. But that's one aspect of that deal. The other aspect is the amount of crude that's being supplied to China via Rosneft, which, by the way, is a publicly traded company. Another glorious example of a national oil company. So Rosneft is publicly traded, and it's pseudo-privately run, but it's also clearly run by the Russian government, which is run by this gentleman right here. That's totally different than the United States. You're really not going to be able to find the same strength and correlation between how Russia or China run their national oil companies that are publicly traded and how the United States runs ExxonMobil. The United States doesn't run ExxonMobil, but basically, indeed, Russia does run Rosneft, and the Chinese government will run 3 or 4 of their national oil companies. Those national oil companies are also publicly traded, so it's really sort of this glorious portal kind of tube that the governments use to, on the one hand, legislate and direct their society based on their political belief, but on the other hand, harness the power of capitalism to do that. It's ingenious, and we'll see how it's going to work out. What's our time, by the way?
7.
We're at 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Beautiful. A little more color, color's what the boys on Wall Street call this, a little more information on this deal with China and Russia. The amount of crude that's being supplied. Rosneft is the company that's going to supply the crude. 70 million barrels per year for 10 years. So for the next 10 years, basically Rosneft is going to provide 70 million barrels of oil a year to China. They've been paid for it, $85 billion. That will affect Rosneft's share price long term. Is this an opportunity right now? I have no idea. I can't understand this game. But what we can report are really simple facts that give you perhaps a broad trend. CNPC, by the way, is not publicly traded, so don't worry about that. But CNOOC is, and PetroChina is, and Sinopec is, and those are the 3 Chinese national oil companies. You know, once again, publicly traded, therefore you think that they're privately run, but they're not. It's a hybrid, just like a hybrid car, runs on gas and electricity. Publicly traded oil companies, but basically run by governments. Those also exist in other countries, but really strong, significant, clear operations can be seen through the Chinese and the Russian governments. So that's the big deal that was hammered out there. You can see that there's, I suspect, a pretty strong Eastern Alliance, Eastern Energy Alliance, the EEA, going on here. And first off, China's looking for energy anywhere they can in the world, but that's a big chunk of crude they've committed to buying from Russia, and Russia needs partners for their crude. So there's probably a pretty strong alliance going on here. What's going to happen with Australia should be interesting. Now, it's not like they have a lot of crude, but they got a shitload of natural gas. Okay, so this is another big update on the global energy rainbow. We talked about Brazil. We talked about the terms they got. We learned that they produce about 2 million barrels per day, which gives them in the second tier. We just talked about the Russian-Chinese deal. We know that Russia already produces about 11 million barrels per day, so we know that they're huge in oil. We know that China doesn't really produce any oil per day. I don't think they do at all. So we know that they're huge in consuming oil. And now what we're going to do, because we have time to, is close up this. Is this dispatch 15? Yeah, this is a milestone. This is huge. This is out of control. Dispatch 15. We'll close up with a focus on Greenland, and we'll update you on what's happening there and see how that's integrated in the global energy rainbow. Before I do that, though, one last little turn back. Got to give you a quick tie-in to how this huge global game, this rainbow and this chess game, ties in directly right back to where we're standing right now in BOOMU and Oklahoma, and that's because One of China's big oil companies, and you've heard me talk about them, CNOOC, they're doing a lot of activity, has a very significant joint venture agreement with Devon Energy, Oklahoma City energy company. So all of this that's going on right here is connected to lovely little Oklahoma right here with an energy company called Devon Energy, and I can guarantee that what they're doing right here, which is 20 minutes north of Boom U, is affecting what's going on right there. And it's pretty unbelievable. And you get a chance right here at Ground Zero to see where you live is connected to this enormous global stage, and there is actually shared influence. And this, by the way, is also happening in a lot of other college towns throughout any either oil patch state, historic, which are the old school oil patch states, or any of the new oil patch states that are now going to have to grapple with understanding how to responsibly extract their resources, blah, blah, blah. We don't even know what the hell we're talking about here, TMAC. It's all about absurdity. That's the whole point of this show. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about, but I'm going to bring us back to Greenland. Yeah, I was talking about Devon and letting you know that Devon is very influential in the global energy rainbow and should be respected as such. And also, by the way, is probably one hell of an investment as long as this energy boom lasts. Who knows? If you think about those things. Greenland. Let's talk about Greenland. Here's what we knew the last time. I'll refresh you on that. We knew that Greenland was in play. We knew that a lot of countries were going there looking for specific resources that they could then extract and sell to the rest of the world. This isn't a new game, but we do have new information that's exciting, crazy exciting, about exactly what's going on there. And I have to confess, I learned this on the internet. I did not learn this via the Wall Street Journal or the Daily Oklahoman. I will on occasion, every day actually jump on Yahoo Finance just to see what's happening. And there was something about Greenland, and I felt that was important to the viewers. And that's my responsibility. That's my commitment to the audience of 4, 5, 6, huge. That we're gonna show you the tough stuff. So Greenland's in play. Here's what we've learned. Now we already knew that the Australians had done a wicked little backdoor, and they're looking for rare earth. We didn't know what the hell that is. Now we know. I'll tell you, it's great stuff. We knew the Canadians were up in Greenland looking for rubies, actual rubies that they're going to sell, I think, primarily to the Chinese. We knew that the Scots were over there experimenting with deep water oil and gas recovery. We also know that they're experimenting with deep water Scotch recovery. There's a new play out. It's a new Scotch. You got Highland, you got Lowland, you got Lane, you got something else. I can't remember it. It doesn't matter because there's a new one coming. We know the Chinese are there because they're wanting to understand engineering and mining, and and that's really interesting. And then we know that the Brits are there looking for iron. So, step 2 is who are the actual players? And some of these companies are publicly traded. Once again, okay, so here's what we learned. Apparently, 2 minutes left. We're wrapping this thing up. We're strong. We're feeling good about this. No one drives that camera quite like TMAC. I'm just laying it down right there, and that ain't bullshit, and that ain't jive talk. That's just street beef. Now, get back to Greenland. Here's what we've learned. The uranium, by the way, I didn't know anyone was looking for uranium. Anyone who is should know that basically, I can cite sources, but I don't have to. Some smart analyst said that they won't even start mining in Greenland for uranium until 2015 at the earliest. So don't worry about uranium. But rare earth. Okay, so we know the Aussies are there looking for rare earth. What is rare earth? Damn it, I had the article right here, you bastards. Anyway, I'll try and remember this. Rare earths are all the different minerals used in 21st century products like cell phones and blah, blah, blah. And they're in strong, strong demand. And guess who right now contributes to 90% of the global supply of rare earth? In other words, this country provides 90% of the world's supply of rare earth minerals. China. Rare earths apparently going to become in strong demand. The Aussies are there to get the rare earth and get a little crack of that market because China's got 90% of it. So that could be interesting to see where that grows and goes. As far as I'm concerned, Rare Earth was a great band from the 70s, and that's where my interest drops at that. And that's all I'm probably going to tell you about Rare Earth, other than we have identified the first publicly traded company, and our viewers will want to know that. It's called Greenland Minerals and Energy. That's Greenland Minerals and Energy. Its ticker symbol is GGG, which is great, sort of Gordon Gekko. GGG.AX, which would signify that it's probably on the Australian exchange. And it is in Australia.